You may have seen that NBA star Karl Anthony Towns released an emotional video this week detailing how both of his parents have fallen ill with what he believed to be the coronavirus. Well, yesterday, Towns' team, the Minnesota Timberwolves, confirmed it. His parents have tested positive for COVID-19. His father is recovering. His mother is in a medically induced coma on a ventilator as she battles the illness. And Towns is pleading for people to take the coronavirus seriously.
This disease needs to not be taken lightly. Please protect your families, your loved ones, your friends, yourself. Practice social distancing. Please don't be in places with a lot of people. Just hide your chances of getting this disease, and this disease is not, it's deadly.
And Towns is not alone in being active in combating coronavirus. Steph Curry, LeBron James, among a number of professional athletes posting messages of support for medical personnel yesterday. And I'll mention that today Steph Curry will have Dr. Anthony Fauci of the White House Coronavirus Task Force on his podcast. Let's get back to the NFL. The biggest story of this offseason, of course, Tom Brady leaving New England for the Buccaneers. Hall of Famer Joe Montana, who was Brady's childhood idol and who was traded from the 49ers to the Chiefs late in his career, believes the Patriots made a mistake letting TB12 go. Here's what he said to Jarrett Bell of USA Today. Again, this is Montana. Quote, "I don't know what's going on inside there, but somebody made a mistake. I think when you look at the whole situation, you try to figure out how you want to get away from things that are there. I had a different story where they had made a decision. They never would have gotten rid of. I still don't understand how New England let him get away. I don't understand that." And as we react to it, I want to make sure everyone sort of understands what Montana is saying. Joe Montana didn't leave San Francisco because they'd grown tired of him. They had a great quarterback waiting in the wings in Steve Young. Something similar happened, I would say, with Peyton Manning in Indianapolis. They had drafted Andrew Luck. They were ready to move on. That, of course, is not the situation here in New England. So, Swagoo, when you hear Joe Montana saying they would never have wanted to get rid of him, someone made a mistake, what does that say to you?
Gee, it focuses sheerly on Bill Belichick to me. I mean, obviously, we've seen the reports that Robert Kraft thought him and Tom Brady were having a meeting for Tom Brady to tell Kraft he was staying. But this has been what we've been talking about with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady's relationship. And I know it was hard for people to believe that it wasn't all peaches and cream with those two guys, but it wasn't. And Tom Brady obviously felt like he wanted to be more appreciated, which I don't know how you become more appreciated than 6 Super Bowls and being the greatest player of all time playing under one system. But that's neither here nor there because everybody tells me I'm too harsh about it. Anyway, when you think about it, Tom Brady leaving the New England Patriots was personal. It was not a business decision. And I think that's what Joe Montana is getting at.
Nick?
Yeah, I think Swagoo hit it right on the head, but I do think that it's hard for Joe Montana to make the same comparison because much of his career was pre-free agency. So it's a different situation when the salary cap is a problem. And one thing about Bill Belichick, part of his success is his on-field schematic genius, but part of his success has been managing the salary cap, and he's done that by being ruthlessly consistent. And he's been ruthless with a lot of great players, and it doesn't stop with Tom Brady or no matter how great the player is. I hate it. I personally would like them to treat, or like Bill Belichick to kind of treat Tom Brady with a little bit more respect, but I guess Bill Belichick would say that he's been there for almost 20 years, so that's more than enough time. It's time to move on. But it hurts to see something like this happen to a guy because, like he's right, it's personal. It's not about his performance or anything else. It's about Bill Belichick wanting to move on, and all reports suggest that he wanted to move on back in the Garoppolo days. Now he's finally gotten his chance.
Yeah, I agree. I think there are two different ways that this can have gone down, and we may never fully know which, and I guess all things can be a combination of the two. But either it really was about the interpersonal relationship and Brady's dissatisfaction with whatever it is Belichick was willing to give him, or it was as simple as someone at this stage in his life wanting to start a new chapter and a new challenge. That's the way they want to position it, Swagoo. It doesn't sound to me like you're buying that.
I'm not. And look, this is a part of the whole structure. And to Nick's point, when he said it, like Belichick manages salary cap, great players being in that organization and being let go, and everybody not looking at it the same way. But obviously, this is Tom Brady, and you move past a lot of the things that you think conventionally as analysts or people just watching this saga play out, and you say, well, this is Tom Brady. And I think a lot of people have said that. And so to that point, G, I think Nick is poignant with that. Like it is the Bill Belichick. When the book comes out, it'll be about the relationship of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, and we'll all be able to get a better understanding of what actually went wrong between these two guys.
And when the book comes out, Bill Belichick will not be quoted in it. Meanwhile, let's run the hurry up here through a couple of other quarterback situations around the sport. And Swagoo, I'm going to start with you. Forget about week 1. Let's talk about midseason. Week 8, who's the starting quarterback in Chicago?
It'll be Nick Foles. I can't get past Mitch Trubisky saying they needed to go around and turn all the TVs off so they would root out the negativity that was being said about his play and what was going on with Chicago. Obviously, Matt Nagy loves Nick Foles. We've seen Nick Foles in this backup role come in for injured Carson Wentz and go on to win the Super Bowl. I don't think people forgot that. It'll be Nick Foles, Week 8 in Chicago.
Dominique, Week 8 in Washington. Who's the quarterback?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Dwayne Haskins. I know they brought in Kyle Allen, and he's a guy who had limited success down in Carolina. I don't think he's going to be the guy that's going to take over for Dwayne Haskins. Even if Haskins has a poor start, I think they're going to stick with him at least through midseason to see what he is. I hope he plays better. The other option is that since they're number 2, they could get Tua. I think that the quotes that Rivera made about being a young team means that they cancel out Cam Newton, but it doesn't cancel out them getting Tua necessarily. But I can't imagine that they're going to get Tua if they're all in on Dwayne Haskins, as it appears that they are right now.
Well, at the risk of a double negative, I want to uncancel the Cam Newton part of this conversation for a minute. I'm not exactly sure what part of that doesn't make sense. Ron Rivera obviously knows it. I understand the things they've done suggest they're not going to. You don't trade for Kyle Allen and then also you're just basically recreating the quarterback situation in Carolina, and that didn't go especially well. But why, Swagoo, would you not consider Cam Newton right now if you're Washington?
I would. I would. But obviously, Ron Rivera, and they'll do their due diligence. It's just such a disappointing time for Cam Newton not being able to be seen by these teams. But a 90% Cam Newton, I'll take over Dwayne Haskins and Kyle Allen. I'm pretty sure everybody would agree with that. But when you look at the structure of it, and like you said, going young, possibly getting to I agree with Foxy. Youth is well served in this league now when you don't have to carry big contracts and you have a quarterback playing at a high level. But if Cam comes out healthy, whenever that due diligence is able to be done, I would definitely look at it, especially with 2 young guys, knowing that Cam is better than both of them.
And you see the name Alex Smith on your screen. He is still under contract there. I think there's a lot of uncertainty as to whether that's going to be an option this coming year or any year. But putting all those into the equation, Dominique, would you handle the situation at quarterback the way they appear to be handling it?
Yeah, I think so. I think the reason why you don't bring in Cam Newton is because time is finite. And the time that you spend giving Cam Newton reps are times that you spend not giving Dwayne Haskins reps and not allowing him to mature and develop into the best quarterback that he can be, and not being able to find out what quarterback you actually have in Haskins. And this team's timeline is not next year. The team that goes after Cam Newton, their timeline should be right now. And that's not where Washington is. They are a team that's building for a future. They need to find out what they have in Dwayne Haskins by giving him as many practice reps as they can, as many game reps as they can, and then reassess their situation at the end of the year. Because we know Dwayne Haskins he was the best quarterback in college for that one season. At least the stats suggest that. So his ceiling is quite high. He has the capability to do everything with his arm on the field, and he's shown a propensity to be able to read defenses. Maybe the year or the game was a little fast for him last year, and he was under Jay Gruden, who it appeared didn't even want him there. So we have to find out what they have in him right now. And I think bringing Cam Newton is a move that you do if you think we have a team that we need just a quarterback away. That's not the team that they have. They need to keep building this roster, use that draft pick on Chase Young, and let Dwayne Haskins become the quarterback that he's going to be.
All right, there are other conversations to be had about Cam Newton, and I want to do that here. Let's take a short break, but I want to make sure everyone is aware. Cam Newton, while he is no longer a Carolina Panther, the way he left, the way it all went down, had Stephen A. Smith very upset yesterday, and the more I think about it, the more I think he may have been right. We'll get to that and more next. Get Up on ESPN.